Let's talk about constellations. Constellations are groups of stars. First time people tried to make sense of what they're seeing in the sky, so they put specific stars in one group just to create a shape, and they assigned a specific story or mythology for specific shapes. For example, take Orion. For Orion, they believe this constellation represents a hunter, and they have stories how this hunter lived, how he hunted, and how he died. But they are not at the same distance, are not, most of the time they are not interacting with each other. So if we do the measurement and compare their positions in the sky, we can see some of them are closer, some of them are further away, and they are not really a group close to each other. This is just a visual effect, what we see in the sky. Another important thing is that in our lifetime we don't see a lot of change for constellations. So it looks like they are fixed, they don't change a lot. But they change, actually they change, and we can do a very accurate measurement to see how this change happens, but it's not easy to see this change in our lifetime because this happens in very longer time compared to our life. So for example, this one is for Orion constellation. For Orion constellation, we can see how it evolves after a while. And what it means constellations we see today are actually different from what our ancestors saw a few thousand years ago. And this is a dynamic picture because after a while we see stars are moving around. After a while we see stars die, they change their color, they change their brightness, even though it's much slower than other events, but it happens, and this is a dynamic picture. We don't see these smaller changes a lot, but what we see is another scale and another change, which is related to our planet. So what we see in the sky, we see all objects looks like they move very fast in 24 hours one day, but they're not moving this fast. So our planet is rotating around itself in 24 hours. This rotation causes this visual rotation of stars in the sky. So our planet is moving in this direction, and what do we see? It looks like the stars are orbiting in this direction. And if we follow this rotation, we see this is the main axis, and this point along this axis shouldn't change because we are orbiting around this point, we are rotating around this point and this point. So in North Pole and South Pole we have these axes, and other stars are just, it looks like they are orbiting around this point. If we do a long time photography, what we see is something like this. Actually we can't see full 24 hours because we have daylight, and we can't see any star during day, so these are just a combination of these motions for many stars. And it looks like there is a point. This is just the rotation axis at the center, and these are all apparent motions for other objects in the sky, but they are fixed, they are not moving this fast, which is just rotation of the Earth. We have another rotation, a longer scale. This is 1 year rotation, just orbiting around the sun. And again, in this case, we have apparent change. So we have apparent change in 1 year. And what happens in this case, because the sun will cover one part of the sky. So, for example, if we are here, basically we can't see everything this side because everything this side is in daylight. But this will change, so because we are moving around the sun, we'll see different parts of the sky in different times of the year. There's a long and ancient story about this coincidence. So people believe there is just a relationship between this alignment and their fate. So they looked at this alignment more carefully.